Hello students, welcome back to the Tantray physics classes. Here I have one more problem on rotational dynamics from Aerodo, a huge problem and can be done in a very simple way. A man of mass m1 stands on the edge of a horizontal uniform disk of mass m2 and radius r, which is capable of rotating freely about a stationary vertical axis, passing through its center. At a certain moment, the man starts moving along the edge of the disk. He shifts over an angle of pi relative to the disk and then stops. In the process of motion, the velocity of the man varies with time as v prime t. Assuming the dimensions of the man to be negligible, find the angle through which the disk had turned by the moment the man stopped. दूसरा part है the force moment related to the rotation axis with which the man acted on the disk in the process of motion. मैं समझाता हूं आपको क्वेश्चन मैं आपको समझाता हूं. ये एक डिस्क है. ये एक डिस्क है. एक डिस्क है ये ऐसे कुछ and it can rotate about this axis. It can freely rotate about this axis. Here is a man. He starts running on the edge of the disk and reaches here, let me suppose, and it traverses the angle phi relative to the disk. But the disk also moves in the back direction. If it goes through an angle of theta 1, the disk goes backward. मतलब ये जो point है disk का, it goes backward by theta 2. And this man, with respect to disk, it traverses angle theta 1 plus theta 2 is equal to phi prime. That is given. Because he gives the angle traversed by the man on the edge of the disk with respect to disk, not with respect to the man on the ground. We have to find how much the disk goes in the back direction, how much angle it traverses in the back direction. मतलब एक डिस्क है, a huge disk मान लीजिए, a man is on the edge of the disk. He starts running on the edge. The disk will rotate in the opposite direction to keep the angular momentum constant. If this man goes forward through an angle of theta 1 and the disk goes backward through the angle of theta 2, हमें theta 2 निकालना है. और ऐसा नहीं कि theta 1 दिया है. The man traveling theta 1 with respect to ground. The man is traveling angle of, he is traversing the angle of theta 1 plus theta 2. That is given to be phi prime. Because in the question it is it indicates that the man traverses angle phi prime with respect to the disk. मैं एक आपको फिगर दिखाना चाहता हूं और एक फिगर दिखाना चाहता हूं ताकि और क्लियर हो जाए क्वेश्चन. ये देखिए आप. Here is a man. It's a disk. It rotates like this. It can rotate like this. Here's a man. It goes over here and goes over to this position and traverses angle theta. But the disk goes in the backward direction and traverses theta 2 in the backward direction. What is given is that is phi prime. मतलब ये जो person है, it is angle is given not with respect to the initial position. It is given with respect to this position because the disk has traversed theta 2 in the back direction. So this angle is given to be phi prime, that is theta 1 plus theta 2. हमें ये theta 2 निकालना है. If the man has gone, it traverses angle theta 1, how much angle the disk has traversed the back direction. मतलब डिस्क है, आप डिस्क के एंड पर हो, आपने रनिंग शुरू किया you go in the forward direction, the disk rotates in the backward direction, you rotate, you go traverse angle θ1 and the disk traverses backward θ2. हमें θ2 निकालना है। ऐसा नहीं कि θ1 आपको दिया हुआ है, आपको ये sum of the two angles दिया है, because in the question it is given the angle traversed by the man with respect to the disk. With respect to the disk, he traverses this much up angle. With respect to the man on the ground, he traverses only θ1. This is the figure given. Man is here, he goes over here, but the disk, this line goes over here. It is θ2, it is θ1. तो हमारा क्वेश्चन ये है कि व्हाट इज θ2, ये हमारा क्वेश्चन है। अब देखिए कैसे करते हैं हम इस क्वेश्चन को। दिस इज डिस्क, इज द मैन, द मैन गोज ओवर हियर, traverses θ1, and the disk goes in the back direction and traverses θ2. And what is θ1 plus θ2? That is phi prime, that is given, because in the question it is given that the person traverses angle phi with respect to the disk itself. With respect to the disk, the angle is this much, pura. With respect to man on the ground, that is this line, only θ1. So first of all, we have to find θ2. First of all, initial angular momentum is 0. When the man is on the edge standing without doing anything, the angular momentum is 0 of the system. When he starts running, there is no external torque. There are internal forces. Torque agar hai, wo internal torques hai. He creates torque on the disk, but disk creates torque on the man. So there are internal torques. The total external torque is 0. Therefore, total angular momentum of disk and man will be conserved. So first of all, angular momentum is 0. For initial angular momentum. What is final angular momentum? Final angular momentum is L1 I1 omega 1, the angular momentum of the man in the forward in the clockwise direction, is equal to plus I2 omega 2 should be equal to 0. This is angular momentum taken by the person in the forward direction. This angular momentum of the disk in the backward direction. मतलब ये जो person है, it goes on the periphery and it has an angular momentum now with respect to axis, and disk has reverse angular momentum about the same axis, so that again the angular momentum is 0. The man goes clockwise, the disk goes anti-clockwise, so that the total angular momentum is again 0. ठीक? So I1 omega 1 is equal to I2 omega 2 is equal to initial angular momentum, that is 0. This angular momentum of the man, this angular momentum of the disk. So what is I1 omega 1? I1 is person, man, it is disk. Man has mass of m1 and disk has m2. Radius is r. तो I1 man का जो moment of inertia है, that is m1 r square, omega 1 that is θ1 by delta t, plus what is I2? That is 1 by 2 m2 r square. What is omega 2? That is θ2 by delta t is equal to 0. This is final angular momentum should be equal to initial angular momentum. The angular momentum taken by the man, the angular momentum taken by the person in the backward direction should be equal and opposite, so that the total angular momentum is again 0, because there is no external torque. This is the angular momentum of the person, this is the angular momentum of the disk in the backward direction. Sum of two should be 0. So delta t goes, r square goes, and what is θ2? That is m1 θ1 negative sign divided by 1 by 2. Okay, just a minute. It is m1 θ1 plus 1 by 2 m2 θ2. What is θ2? Is equal to 0. This m1, what is θ1? Because we have to get answer in terms of phi prime. So θ1 is phi prime minus θ2 is plus 1 by 2 m2 θ2 is equal to 0. ठीक? तो अब जाकर This is m1 phi prime minus m1 theta 2 plus 1 by 2 m2 theta 2 is equal to 0. Right? मगर ये हमें लिखना चाहिए था phi 1 theta 1 is equal to ये हमें लिखना चाहिए था इज इक्वल टू, ये फॉर्मूला इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए था I1 ओमेगा 1 इज इक्वल टू I2 ओमेगा 2. ये दिस इक्वेशन वी शुड हैव यूज्ड. We should have used this equation. This one. Angular momentum in one direction should be equal to angular momentum in the second direction. This is I1, that is M1 or square omega 1, that is theta 1 by delta t is equal to, what is I2? That is 1 by 2 M2 or square theta 2 by delta t. ठीक, चलिए, this is r square cancels, delta t cancels, it is m1, what is theta 1? That is phi prime minus theta 2 is equal to 1 by 2 m2 theta 2, right? That is m1 phi prime minus m1 theta 2 is equal to 1 by 2 m2 theta 2. It is m1 phi prime is equal to, इसको वहाँ ले जाइए और theta 2 कॉमन निकालिए, theta 2 m1 plus m2 by 2. What is theta 2 now? What is theta 2 now? Yes? Theta 2 is equal to m1 phi prime divided by m1 plus m2 by 2. That is equal to, yes, 2 को एलसीएम निकालिए और वो 2 ऊपर जाएगा, that is twice m1 phi prime divided by, yes, 2 times m1 plus m2. ये है आंसर. This is the answer of the question. फिर से एक बार मैं एक्सप्लेन करना चाहूँगा. A disk here, a person here, he moves on the periphery of the disk, edge of the disk, and reaches here as a man, m1 mass, covers a theta 1 angle, but the disk goes in the back direction, and this point P point disk reaches here, and it covers theta 2 in the opposite direction. Right? This is a person, for this P is a person, but it is now, disk is here with respect to this person, this man on the edge. So the man on the edge traverses theta 1 plus theta 2 with respect to the disk. That is given to be theta 1 plus theta 2 is given to be phi prime. So angular momentum is conserved, is equal to 0 initially. Final angular momentum is I1 omega 1 minus I2 omega 2. Because one is clockwise, other is anti-clockwise, and this is equal to 0 because initial is equal to initial angular momentum. So I1 omega 1 is equal to I2 omega 2. I1 is for a man m r square omega 1, that is theta 1 by delta t, is equal to, what's I2? That's 1 by 2 m2 r square of the disk omega 2, that is theta 2 by delta t. This cancels. It is m1 theta 1, but theta 1 is phi prime minus theta 2 is equal to 1 by 2 m2 theta 2. It is m1 phi prime is equal to m1 theta 2 plus 1 by 2 m2 theta 2. Now what is theta 2? What is theta 2? Theta 2 is equal to, yes, m1 phi 1 divided by m1 plus 1 by 2 theta 2, 1 by 2 m2 because theta 2 is common, और बाकी चीज़ हमने m1 के नीचे लाया. तो दिस इज द आंसर. लेकिन अभी इसने आंसर में क्या किया? इसने आंसर में इस 2 को एलसीएम निकाल कर ऊपर ले लिया, डिवाइड बाई ट्वाइस m1 प्लस m2. आंसर 2 बार दिखाया मैंने आपको. So basic concept क्या था? When the man is on the periphery of the disc, he starts running in one direction. Disc starts rotating in the opposite direction, so the total angular momentum is again zero. So the total angular momentum is again zero. So initial angular momentum is zero and final angular momentum is also zero. Thank you.